Call to order the April 7th City of Wyoming City Council meeting. Let the record show that we have a quorum. Council members Schilling and Yeager are both present, as well as Acting Mayor Luger. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Council member and veteran Dennis Schilling.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have open forum. Open forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items on or not on the current agenda. Items requiring council action may be deferred to staff or boards and commissions for research in future council agendas if appropriate. You will be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask that you conduct yourself in a professional, courteous manner and refrain from the use of profanity. Failure to abide by this policy may result in your loss of privileges to speak. Do we have anyone here for open forum? Okay. Please step on up, and then your name, address, and I think, turn the microphone on.
My name is Daniel Whitty, reside at 6553 260th Street here in Wyoming. So, bring back the old Minnesota flag. Good evening, council members, neighbors, and fellow citizens of Wyoming, Minnesota. My name is Daniel Whitty, and I'm here tonight because I believe our town deserves a voice in a matter that affects every Minnesotan, our state flag. For more than a century, the old Minnesota flag represented our shared history, the settlers, the veterans, the farmers, the families, and all of the people who built this state with hard work, faith, and pride. It's the flag we grew up under. It's the flag our grandparents saluted. It's part of our identity. But recently, the old flag was replaced, not because the people overwhelmingly demanded it, but because a small appointed group decided it was time for a change. There was no board public vote, no fair poll of Minnesota citizens, no real opportunity for the average voter to express what they wanted to keep or what they hoped to see. In a democracy, that should matter. Now, this isn't about politics. It's about process, fairness, and respect for public voice. In America, symbols should change only when the people decide. The citizens of Wyoming, Minnesota deserve their say. We deserve to display proudly the flag that represents our heritage, the one that tells our story, not someone else's version of it. I'm asking our city council to take leadership on this issue. Let's bring back the old Minnesota flag to our town buildings, to our parks, and to our community events. Let's be a city that stands for local choice and civic pride. Let's show the state that Wyoming, Minnesota, still believes in the power of the people's voice. Other areas who have implemented this and have succeeded, Chaplin, Zumbrota, and now just recently Elk River. Every flag tells a story, and I believe our old flag still tells one the best. Thank you for your time and for considering this restoration of our state's true and rightful symbol. I'd like to see in the next agenda that the City Council bring this up for a vote and we get restitution to this so we can get that flag flying again here in Wyoming. I drive by it every day. I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitty. I'll defer to city staff.
In regards to the state flag, Mr. Whitty, thank you for your input. I know he referenced a few other cities that have made changes for this. So just for the council's information, the state flag is set by the state of Minnesota. That is something that cities don't have the ability to override a state in regards to what reflecting the actual recognized state flag is. Cities have changed it, but it is only symbolic in that sense. It is not the official flag at that point. I think it's at this group. I know we only have a small allotment of you tonight. Oh, and I can stop.
No, I was just going to add this because we're short. I mean, obviously this needs a discussion. We're missing 2 other members. I wouldn't have an objection putting it on a work session to discuss it because we are short people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with us having a conversation about it.
But the question I have, if you're correct in that the state sets the flag, in possibility that the council says we would prefer the old flag, would we still be mandated to fly the official state flag?
There's no legal obligation for the city to fly a state flag in its chambers. The law, as Administrator Linwood said, the flag is set by the state government. The flag that we display is what's been adopted. The law is that flag has to fly at the Capitol. It has to fly at all state buildings. That there's no requirement that cities, municipalities, counties have to display the state flag. So ultimately, it's really a decision that would be left to the cities. That said, there is potential in displaying something other than the adopted state flag, that an argument could be raised that the city's engaging in some form of speech, which could give open to an argument on allowing other flags or other forms of speech. That argument hasn't been raised. The gentleman who spoke is absolutely correct. There have been at least 3, I think a few more cities that have made the decision to continue to display the old flag. There's been no challenges to that as far as I'm aware of. All of it's pretty new. But as far as a legal requirement is concerned, the city has no obligation to fly any state flag if it chooses not to.
In which case, and I would echo you,
I just think we
and
need everybody here.
put it on the next agenda.
I guess my preference would be more in line with Member Schilling's suggestion that this might be a good starting place for a discussion about this would be at a work session where we can have a more informal conversation that is also open to the public with city staff weighing in on it.
Yeah, I agree. We're short too, and I think it's
Right.
something we should talk about, so.
So can we put it on the next?
I don't necessarily know, based on the content that we're requesting for the August 20, or excuse
Okay.
me, if the April 21st meeting, if we would have time, since we already have an item set on this agenda for that, and we've already communicated that to the HOA, that would be dedicated to that process. But certainly, we can look at a future meeting, potentially looking at the first meeting in May even, at that work session. Staff may have some other items for that potential work session that night anyways, that we were gonna look at the 21st for council,
You want to look at the first meeting in May?
be May 5th.
May
Yeah, I was
5th.
gonna say, I thought it was May 5th.
And I-
Because you said the 21st.
No,
Yeah.
April 21st is our one, but. we
Yeah, I
got
know,
the-
he
yeah.
said the 21st originally. Yeah, well, we just have the council meeting on May 5th, so.
Well, and I also want us to be cognizant too that we are starting the budget process in that neighborhood of time, and so we want to make sure that we are addressing all of those issues and working through that process too, because that is really what we are most. That should be probably the biggest focus right now,
That
is
starts
ensuring.
June 2nd. On the
Yep.
calendar.
Yes, and city staff will be preparing things prior to that in order to present to us. So I want to be cognizant of their time as well. All right, do we have anyone else for open forum? Please come on up.
Theodore Hansen, 255530 West Comfort Drive in Wyoming. And I'm just wanted to kind of add on to what Mr. Whitty said, and point out that there is the state statute 14141, which really, the new flag flies only on the state capitol building between sunrise and sunset. So there's the state statute, and I think that was kind of reiterated. So I think looking at that would help, and I agree that we had a 13-member hand-picked committee that picked this flag, and really was the only elected official that got in here was Steve Simon, but the new flag was just kind of drafted upon us, So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. When we are ready to put this on a work session agenda, Attorney Lunan, I think having that background information about the process and kind of a little bit more in-depth information about the statute and how that applies to state locations versus city locations will be important. All right, anybody else for open forum? All right, then we will move on to the regular agenda. We have item number 1, which is the approval of minutes. Consider approving the minutes of the work session of the Wyoming City Council on March 17th, 2026. Do we have any comments or questions? And if not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Yeah.
Motion by member Nanko Yeager, second by
Second, yep.
second by member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 2, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming City Council for March 17th. If there are no questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Motion by member Nanko Yeager. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have no scheduled bid lettings or public hearings, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull an item from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 3 through 7?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
A second by member Yeager. Do we, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is to acknowledge receipt of reports of officers, directors, boards, commissions, and department heads. Would anyone like to pull anything? Nope. I do have one question for Chief Bauer. Our amazing public safety department did the food drive for Family Pathways, and I'm just wondering how many pounds of food we were able to raise.
I'd be making it up if I told you off the top of my head.
Okay.
I have the receipt sitting on my desk.
Okay.
And we need to get the totals on donations as well from
Gotcha.
Forest Lake to
Okay.
put that out. So
We'll
we'll
look
coordinate
forward-
with Forest Lake to get something out together.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe maybe we need to do like a
384-ish,
deadline.
384-ish something, but give
Awesome.
or take. So,
All right.
yeah, it was a good, really good event, actually. So,
And it was like a beautiful day, too.
It was
So
perfect.
we had a lot
It
of really
was.
great community members
Yes.
show up for it. So
yep, absolutely.
thank you for all the work on that.
Of course.
All right, so we'll move on to communications. It does not look like we have anything for communications or old business, so we will move on to new business. Number 13, 2026 Arbor Day proclamation. Mr. McFarland.
Yes, honorable members of the City Council, in 2020, the City of Wyoming became a member of the Tree City USA program. That program began in 1976 and is a national program that supports community tree management. Trees are a critical part of the city's infrastructure, and a healthy forestry program helps to protect groundwater, reduce energy costs, support erosion control, and boost property values. Arbor Day in 2026 is going to fall on Friday, April 24th. And as a Tree City USA member, the city is mandated to hold an Arbor Day celebration and issue a proclamation declaring that day as Arbor Day. So staff will be administering the tree planting event to the Arbor Day celebration on Saturday, April 25th. That's going to be held at Tolsman Park from 10 a.m. to noon. We do typically invite the local scouts to that event, as well as connecting with the local elementary schools as well, just to see if there's any interest in their participation. And usually we have a fair amount that show up. So you're all invited to attend that. And then this is also just a recommendation to issue that proclamation stating Friday, April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in Wyoming, Minnesota.
All right, questions?
None. Thank you.
All right. With that, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by member Yeager. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, so that brings us to the final agenda item. Okay, my iPad is not functioning. That brings us to the final agenda item, to consider a council work session on April 21st, 2026 at 5 p.m. Mr. Linwood.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of council. At the request of the residents of Liberty Pond and the HOA, they have requested that we hold a work session to hear concerns related to their community septic. The council's previously reviewed and heard different renditions in regards to some of the requests regarding from Liberty Pond. We've heard information regarding that Clean Water Partnership loan during discussions in 2024 and 2025.